Good evening, everybody. We left off on page 269. It was mid-morning when the phone rang. Neil saw immediately on the caller ID that it was Kiri, and he picked up the device and turned it on in one swift motion. "Kiri!" he exclaimed with a smile, assessing her expression. He could tell she had good news. "What's up?" "Connor's awake," she said. She sounded very relieved. "That's excellent," he said energetically. "How is he?" "Sleeping again at the moment. He's groggy. He hasn't said anything yet." "Ah," Neil responded, frowning. "But he's going to be okay?" "Eventually, I think so. Are Mum and Dad in yet?" "Their flight doesn't get in until later this afternoon. I was going to go to the airport to pick them up." I have a guard doing that, so you'll have Officer Reed coordinate if you want to meet them." "Definitely. Consider it done." "How are the kids?" "Scared, but what can you expect? I think they'll be okay. They seem to have some mixed emotions. They're glad their wonderful, perfect, flawless uncle is in town," he said with a grin. "And yet, they can't help but be scared." Kiri chuckled. "Yeah, I'm sure you balance it out quite well for them," she said in a joking tone. "And of course they're scared. We all are. I just wish they could be here." "Wait till he's feeling a bit better to do that. They don't need to see him on morphine." "I know, but I want to see them again today. So be sure to bring them with Mum and Dad, okay? Connor's in the ICU." "Okay, we'll get directions from the front desk. When do you think they'll be able to see him?" "Probably in a few days. I think he should be out of the ICU first. He's sleeping right now. He's so exhausted." "Well, I can't imagine why," Neil said sarcastically, only slightly concerned that she was repeating herself. He saw the bags under her eyes and reasoned that Connor wasn't the only one who was exhausted. "Do you want to talk to Aiden and Patrick?" "Definitely," she said enthusiastically. "Okay, 1 second." The screen turned black and she heard the muffle of the phone being pressed to Neil's shirt, and then heard, "Patrick! Aiden! Come down here, please! Your Mum's on the phone!" "We have an intercom, you know," she said after a moment. "Really? I didn't see an intercom." "Give me the phone first! I want to talk to her!" Patrick's voice came through. "No! Me first! Me first!" "All right, pick a number between 1 and 10, Neil said. 7, Patrick decided. 2, Aiden said. It was 6, Patrick's first. Kiri heard the phone being passed to Patrick and heard a frustrated humph from Aiden. "Hi, Mum." "Hi, honey, how are you?" "I'm good. How's Dad?" "He woke up, but he went back to sleep. He won't be asleep for as long this time. He's doing okay," she said reassuringly. "Can we see him?" "Not yet, honey. I'm sorry. Wait another couple of days. He's going to be transferred to the hospital down the street in a few days, and then you can definitely see him." "But I want to see him now," Patrick complained. "I know. I'm sorry, honey." "Can I talk to him?" "He's sleeping, Patrick. He needs to rest right now." Patrick made an aggravated noise. "You have to be understanding for the next few months, sweetie. He isn't going to be able to do everything he used to." Patrick sighed. "I know," he said reluctantly. "Remember, we talked about this yesterday. He bumped his head and he's going to need our help to get back to being able to do all the things—" "I know!" Patrick exclaimed, frustrated. Kiri paused. She couldn't discipline him. Not right now. "All right. Now what have you boys and Uncle Neil and Officer Reed been doing?" "We ate breakfast and we played video games." "That's good. What'd you have for breakfast?" "A cheese sandwich." There was a pause. Neil couldn't find the cereal? "I wanted a cheese sandwich." Kiri sighed. "That's fine," she said. "Are you going to do your homework soon?" "I'll do it today. I'll check my account. Aiden will too. I'll make sure he does it. When can we go back to school?" "Probably Monday," Kiri told him, thinking about this. Tomorrow was Friday. She didn't want the kids in school until she was absolutely sure that Smith wasn't going to pull something. That school wasn't exactly secure. "I miss soccer," Patrick told her. "I know you do," Kiri said sympathetically. "I'll bet you miss your friends too. And as soon as it's safe, you're going right back to be with them. I promise." "It isn't safe at school?" Patrick sounded scared. Kiri frowned. "Well, buddy, it isn't that. It's more preparation. You know the saying, be prepared?" "Uh-huh." Well, this is like that. I'm just making sure nothing happens. There was a moment of silence. Patrick was a smart kid. He probably wasn't falling for this. Okay, came the response. He wasn't arguing. Curie took that as a sign that he was either mad at her or he was scared, and she would rather him be mad at her than scared. Honey, you don't need to worry. I've got everything under control. I know, he said a little too quickly. All right, she said. I'm going to see you a little later today, when Grandma and Grandpa get here. Awesome, he said happily. You two and Neil and Officer Reed are going to pick them up at the airport, I think, so you'll get to see them the minute they get off the plane. Remember not to take your pocket knife. I will. Did you take a shower last night? Uh-huh. Wash your hair? There was a pause. Patrick, how long's it been? I don't know, he said guiltily. Well, make sure you wash it tonight. Okay, he promised. Did you sleep well last night? I guess, he lied. Curie frowned. She knew that tone. Want to tell me about it? No, I'm okay, he assured her. Well, I won't make you. But if you want to talk about it, I'm always available, honey. And you can talk to Uncle Neil, too. I know, he said. Curie was worried. He was being far too quiet. He usually told her everything, and it was Aiden that she had to ask. Anything you want to talk about? There was a short pause. Is Dad in pain? No, not right now. He's got medicine that'll take care of that, she reassured him. Is he scared? A little bit, Curie admitted. But I've got someone watching over him, and I'm making sure he's never alone. He'll be okay, she told him softly. All right, he accepted. Curie could tell he had his doubts. Want to talk to Aiden? Yeah, go ahead and put him on. Okay, love you. Bye, Mum. Love you too, honey. See you later. She waited a moment, and then Aiden's high-pitched voice came on the phone. Hi, Mummy. How's Daddy? Daddy's doing better, she told him honestly. He woke up for a little bit, and he went back to sleep. That's good, Aiden decided. Can he see us yet? Curie went through the same explanation with Aiden, who asked the same questions his brother had. Aiden seemed to accept what Curie said much easier, but he still seemed to be scared. Did you sleep well last night, sweetie? No, Aiden told her. I had bad dreams. What about? Stuff, Aiden avoided the question. You can tell me, honey. It's scary. I know. I think I can handle it, she said, smiling a bit. Okay, he started, and Curie saw him take the phone away, out of earshot of his brother. I saw them, he said quietly, looking at her on the holographic screen with haunted eyes. They shot our alarm, and they... He paused, collecting his emotions, willing himself to be brave. They hurt Daddy, and you were there. Curie felt a lump grow in her throat. Her poor little boy. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. It was just a dream, okay? You're safe with Uncle Neil and Officer Reed, and Daddy's safe too, and so am I. She hated that her boys were suffering. No, you're not. He surprised her by arguing. You have to catch the bad guys. They can hurt you, he said. It was the truth, but she didn't know if she could acknowledge it or not. Aiden, you know that Justin and Sarah and Greg and Nikki and Spencer, they're all part of my team, right? Uh-huh, came the wary reply. Okay, well, they're all going to help me catch the bad guys, and we watch each other very carefully. We keep each other safe. That's what a team does. You understand. I've got people who are very, very good at what they do watching out for me, just like Uncle Neil and Officer Reed are watching out for you. There was a pause. Aiden seemed to consider the answer. Okay, he accepted finally. But can someone else catch the bad guys? Curie sighed. No, honey. I've got to do this. There was another moment of silence. Do you understand? Yeah, Aiden answered. He sounded reluctant. Okay, Curie said, accepting his answer for now. You know you can always talk to Uncle Neil when you want to, right? Uh-huh. And you can call me on my phone. I know. Okay. Did you shower last night? Uh-huh. I'm still wearing Patrick's socks. They're too big. Kiri chuckled. It seemed like a year ago that she had this conversation with Connor. I know. The clothes washer isn't here yet, I assume. You'll have to put up with it for a few more days till it gets there, okay? Alright, he resigned. How's Quigley? He's sad. He's sleeping on the couch. He's up on the couch? Who let him up there? Uncle Neil said it was okay. Kiri sighed. Tell Uncle Neil that until the dog learns to wipe his own paws, he doesn't go on the furniture. Okay, I'll tell him. Alright, Kiri said with a smile. You be good now. I will. Bye-bye, honey. Bye, Mummy, he said, and the phone clicked off. Aiden handed it back to Neil. What'd she say to tell me? Or was that Patrick you were talking about? Neil asked. She says that until Quigley learns to wipe his own paws, he doesn't go on the furniture, he said dutifully. Neil rolled his eyes. All right, fine, fine. Poor dog. He walked over to Quigley and lifted him off the furniture. Quigley, you're being evicted. Quigley lifted his head up, but put it right back down on his paws and rolled over, still sleeping. We ought to think about what we're doing for lunch. From what I saw last night, your pod's pretty empty. We need to go grocery shopping, Patrick whined from the couch. He was watching something called Do You Dare, where kids dressed in helmets and padded clothing and hooked into harnesses jumped around on an obstacle course 20 meters in the air. Unfortunately, unless you want leftovers, as I understand it, you're used to gourmet food. Dad's good at cooking, Patrick said, looking down at the remote and pretending to study it intently. He's good at everything, Aiden added. He too refused to make eye contact with Neil. Neil's smile was lopsided. He looked at Officer Reed. You know how to cook? Are you kidding me, man? I'm a micro person. You're single, right? That's why I'm a micro person. Neil nodded. Yeah, he said, but didn't add the we're screwed that he was thinking. Well, I think I'm gonna learn to cook. How about it? The kids looked up. Okay, Aiden said energetically, but Patrick just looked skeptical. You sure about this? Reed asked with a raised eyebrow. We're going grocery shopping. Let's go. I'll make something relatively easy. I shouldn't screw up spaghetti. Reed gave an I don't know look, but followed. I'll sit up front with you. No use taking the squad car if we're going in together. Sounds like a plan, Neil said. Okay, get your coats, kids, and get in the car. Shotgun's already called. We can't sit in the front anyway, Patrick informed him, walking to the closet to get his coat. We don't weigh enough, and Aiden still has a baby seat. I do not! It's a booster seat, Aiden argued, clearly insulted. There's a big difference there, Reed said to Patrick. I'll bet you used one until just about last year. Patrick shrugged. Yeah, I thought so, Reed said with a smile. Aiden, where's your booster seat? Neil asked. Daddy's car, Aiden said. Alright, we'll take that car then. No, let's just move the seat to the rental car, Patrick suggested. Yeah, Aiden agreed. Neil didn't realize that the kids wouldn't want to take their father's car. He sort of understood why. Okay, I'll go move it. He looked at Reed. Watch the kids for a sec? Yeah, Reed said with a nod. Neil was only gone a few minutes. Detaching and reattaching a booster seat didn't take a rocket scientist, and since Neil was a rocket scientist, it was quite easy. Now we've got to deal with this darn piece of junk, their uncle said once they were all in the car and strapped in. And no, it isn't me, he said to Reed before the officer could open his mouth. He tossed the GPS to Reed. You try figuring it out. I think it's set on American slang or something. None of its directions make any sense. I'll give it a shot, Reed said, and clicked around with his pointer finger on the screen. There's a grocery store nearby, he said. Let's go to that one. He clicked on it, and the GPS said, Ya on your way, homie. Go north on LaGrange, 2.3 mile. Reed burst out laughing. Oh, someone at the rental car company hates you. You weren't kidding. What? The kids asked, smiling because they knew something was funny. Please tell me I'm not the only one who doesn't know what a Yui is, Neil asked, turning north onto LaGrange Road. They rented this to an Irish guy, Reed said in between laughs. Oh, that's priceless. Neil looked over at his patrol officer companion with a raised eyebrow. Reed's laughter died down a bit. Sorry, man. Turn left onto Elm in 1 mile, man, and go straight. You there in .8 mile. Neil smirked. So I was right. It isn't me. Reed shook his head. That's hilarious. We need some music to fit the mood. He turned on the radio, and it automatically played what Neil had been listening to. Alternative. You listen to this crap? It's good music, Neil argued. Right. What do you two kids like to listen to? Classical, Patrick answered. We listen to it while we do our homework. Reed turned around in disbelief. Really? The kids nodded. Classical? They nodded again. We have to get you kids culturally aware, he said, and turned the station to his favorite. New rap. A musical revolution, according to Reed. Rap started in the 1980s and evolved into hip-hop in the late 1990s and early 2000s. But now, new rap was revolutionizing the style of music that went out about 20 years ago. It was better, with amazing bass and meaningful lyrics. Reed could preach for hours on how much of an improvement new rap was. Aiden covered his ears, and Neil looked back through the rearview mirror. He chuckled. Good job, he congratulated Reed. You're making the kid go deaf. Reed looked slightly insulted. This is good music. See, he likes it, he said, pointing to Patrick, who was smiling and bobbing his head. Neil looked back for a minute and shook his head. Kiri's not going to be happy. Reed chuckled. She'll get over it. We've got to download some new rap into your player, man, he said, turning around to look at Patrick. Okay, Patrick accepted readily with a wide smile. Aiden still covered his ears. They arrived at the grocery store and parked in the nearest available parking space, around the side of the store. Looks like we're walking from Mongolia, Reed said. Neil smiled. It's good for you, he said. They got out of the car and locked it up. Neil looked up at the horribly cloudy sky and said, We'd better hurry. Looks like we're going to get hit. They got a basket and pushed it into the front entrance of the store. Neil looked around at the signs, trying to find where the spaghetti might be. We'll read more tomorrow.